Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. US President Donald Trump has said he expects to be bombing if progress is not made in the Iranian peace talks. He says he does not want to extend the ceasefire, which is due to expire on Wednesday. Earlier, Iran's parliamentary speaker said Tehran is preparing new cards on the battlefield if fighting with the US resumes.
As far as Iran, the clock's ticking. They've got about 3 more weeks before their economy starts sputtering and stops, and they know that. Now, it's going to hit us hard. I mean, we need the oil, we need the fertilizer, we need the liquefied natural gas. Europe is within about 5 weeks of running out of jet fuel that gets that comes from the Persian Gulf. So, yes, everybody feels the pressure on this, but I think Iran feels it more than anybody else.
President Volodymyr Zelensky has said he considered visits by US envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner to Moscow, but not Kyiv, disrespectful.
I'm so pleased to see you.
The pair visited the Russian capital late last year as ceasefire talks aimed at ending the war in Ukraine gained pace, and again in January. Witkoff, who has been to Moscow 8 times, met Vladimir Putin on many occasions. Neither he nor Kushner, however, has ever visited Kyiv in an official capacity. A 32-year-old Canadian woman has been killed and 13 people injured after a man opened fire at a historical site in Mexico. The gunman killed himself after the attack. President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico has expressed her solidarity with the victims of a shooting at one of the country's most important tourist destinations, the ancient pyramid complex of Teotihuacan. It comes with 7 weeks to go before the first match of the FIFA World Cup is held in Mexico City. Local prosecutors identified the shooter as Julio Cesar Jasso Ramirez, a Mexican national, without providing further details.
Calling People versus David Anthony Burke, that's case number...
Singer David Burke, known as David, has been formally charged with first-degree murder in the death of a 14-year-old girl. The charges come 7 months after investigators reportedly found Celeste Rivas Hernandez in a bag inside a Tesla registered to a Texas address linked to the singer. In a press conference, Los Angeles County District Attorney gave an update on the case and answered questions on why it took so long for an arrest.
That in a situation where you don't have an eyewitness account, or we can't point to a video that shows the killer killing someone, you have to go through the very rigorous and thorough investigation to look at all the digital and forensic evidence. You have to speak with witnesses, often who are cooperative, and some who are not cooperative, in order to obtain all the information necessary to decide who did what, when, how, and what their mental state was at the time.
A mass trial of 486 suspected MS-13 gang leaders has begun in El Salvador. The group are collectively accused of committing more than 47,000 crimes, including murder, extortion, and drug and arms trafficking between 2012 and 2022. Among those on trial are people alleged to have been involved in a wave of gang violence in March 2022, which saw 87 people killed in one weekend. South Africa's police chief has been formally charged with failing in his duties to provide proper oversight in his role following a health contract that has become the subject of a criminal investigation. General Fanny Masemola was summoned to court over his alleged part in the awarding of a controversial $21 million tender, which has since been cancelled. He has been charged with violating part of South Africa's Public Finance Management Act, which governs how public finances are managed. And Apple has named John Ternus as its new chief executive to replace Tim Cook, who is stepping down after 15 years of leading the technology giant. Ternus, the current head of hardware engineering, who has been at Apple for 25 years, will take over on the 1st of September, and Cook will become executive chairman. Cook has been chief executive of Apple since 2011, after the co-founder Steve Jobs resigned for health reasons shortly before his death. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.